Hey, it looks like we may have some success. This is me with a brief video showing you what I decided to do with my new purchase, which was a silicone mold I got from Michaels. And I thought, since the patterns and the colors turn out so nicely without silicone, I would probably just take a chance and spread some of them on the back side of the silicone mold. There's no silicone in them, none in the colors, so I didn't really expect cells, and I didn't really get cells. Now the first day that these dried, they were too thin to get off, so I decided, since I own Floetrol, to use Floetrol, and I put a nice thick layer of Floetrol right on. Now you can tell that they're still pretty thin. You can even see through some spots in places, but I like hearts and I'd like to decorate with them. My original idea was just to take the hearts and put them in the bottom of the molds, like so, with some resin in there, and make some nice little paperweights or something. But anyway, so it's working. My trick was to very carefully go around the edge, and if I show you, I'm afraid I'm going to rip one, so I'm not going to do that. But I went around the edge until I scraped off the little overflow and tucked my little point of my I'm tongue-tied today, palette knife under the edge, and just lifted carefully and sort of pushed away. And I don't think there's really a reason to worry if you rip it a little bit, because you're going to be able to push it down into whatever you're pushing it into resin, or if you're applying it to a painting, which is actually another idea that I thought was great. And I'm going to do the same thing with some stars, because I like the kitschy hearts and stars. What can I say? Anyway, so I thought I would quickly show you how I did that, just because some people just don't know, and I could be one of them. So I'm just going to take a few drops of paint that I have handy right over here on the left. Doesn't matter what I use, as long as I like the colors. My head is probably in the way. This is also my test video to see if I can actually decide to make a recording and make a recording without getting waylaid. Oh, I wanted some black. It doesn't really matter where I'm putting anything, because I'm just going to smear it around with my palette knife anyway. And like I said, the first coat will probably not be strong enough to take away. And I like, ooh, a little darker color in there. That's probably a lot of paint. But at this point, a lot of paint might not be a bad thing. We're still experimenting. But I want to show you how easy this is. And if it looks pretty enough, and I have enough to go elsewhere, I'll just put it over there. Spread it around. Make sure I get all the way to the edge. I don't have my glasses on, so that would be helpful, I guess. Usually. But that's me testing that it's all the way around to the edge, and me noticing that I have some more over here, and I really hate wasting paint, like I mentioned before to anybody who's watched what I show. So maybe at this point less is more. That gold, I didn't use any black last time. And I have a little handy, so long as it doesn't have the Floetrol right on top. See, you can tell I'm not doing anything extraordinary. I'm just dripping paint, basically. And shaking, as usual. So I'm going to leave one of these thick so I can experiment. But that's pretty much it for now. And like I said, not too thick. 2 days of drying time with a heavy coat of Floetrol in between, and very cautiously peeling it up with my palette knife. And that's all for now.